It's Ladonia here from Keep It Crafty with Ladonia, and I thought I would come on today to show you how I made this front here. This is a box, but I'm going to make a card to match. But I thought I'd show you what I did with the punch to make this topper. I think it's quite fun. I've used this as my inspiration. Now we don't have a really deep orange, but I've used pumpkin pie, and then I've picked out melon mambo, poppy parade, Mango Melody, Pretty Peacock and Coastal Cabana. And that was my inspiration. So this is what I made for a gift, and then I'm going to make a card to match. So I was getting ready and I got a little bit carried away with myself and started actually making the card. So we'll go back from scratch. This is a full sheet of A4 cardstock. It's in pumpkin pie to match the box base. And what I've done so far is I've just scored that at 10.5 centimetres. So then I've folded and burnished it, and then I'm going to cut it at 10.5 centimetres to make my card base. So that's that piece done. That's our card blank. And then I've cut two pieces, which are, I believe, 20.5. Yes, 20.5 centimetres by 10 centimetres for both pieces. One will be for the inside sentiment, and then the other will be for the topper. So we'll stick this one on now, because I'm not going to stamp anything else on that. That would just be a written message. So we'll get that one put on now. And then I've not got to worry about losing it, for example. So that's that on, and then we can start with the top. So what I've done, I have used the Painted Textures 3D embossing folder, and I don't know how well it picks it out, but it is a beautiful embossing folder. But obviously it's not long enough. You can see my cardstock is longer, so I ran it through like that once and then turned it round and popped it into the edge just to try and match up. I can't even see which bit I matched up. So this one I was quite lucky with matching this one up. Maybe just there. It's hard to tell because obviously the pattern is different. So getting it matched up is really difficult. So I just went for it, and it's gone quite well on this one. This one, however, I don't know if you can see just there. I did sort of put the card back in. As I put it back in the second time to run it through, I put it in a little bit too far and sort of overlapped it. So I've got a slight ridge on this one across there. Hence, that's why I've put that bit of twine there to just help disguise that a little bit. So that's what I did with that. And then I have punched out some circles. So we've got all the 5 colours. That's the same as on the box. And I've used my 2¼ inch punch. Now to get them so as these are not overlaid, I've actually cut these. So to get that so as it's all nice and equal, I've just used my grid paper to measure it. Now I want to remember that this one needs to stay full, so I'll put that one to one side. And then I went across to my grid paper and I popped it in the corner, and then I lined my ruler up with the 1¾ inch line. And then just drew a pencil line, just like that. So I'm going to do that on all 4 of those. Line it up with this edge here of the grid paper, and then drew a line at 1¾ So obviously you can make these bigger or smaller just by changing it from a 1¾ inch line to something else. And then this one, just line it up and draw your pencil line, just like that. So then we need our circle punch. Again, the same one, the 2¼ circle punch. And I'm going to, let's do this one. You might be able to see better with the pencil line. And what I've done is, you can go any way. In fact, this way would probably be better because it'll grip both sides at the same time, rather than gripping the bottoms very slightly before the top. So just go in until the pencil line is completely visible, but only just, because you want the pencil line to come off on this bit and not stay on this bit. And then just punch, and there is our circle, which will fit nicely against the next one. So if you do that on all of them, again, just make sure that you're chopping off the pencil line. Because then we've not got to worry about it. If you don't get it quite lined up, you can always, and you've got a little tiny bit of pencil line left on your crescent, you can always just rub that out. This one's a little bit darker, so a little bit more difficult to see. There we go. So put them out the way, and then we're going to stick these down. I want to stick them in the same order, so I'm going to bring that back. But this piece of cardstock is slightly wider than this one. If you see there, look, it is wider. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start further in, but I'm going to lay them all out first to make sure we've got an equal border at either end. So we just need to move slightly to the right. So when we're lined up, then we can just slide sideways to make sure that the whole thing, when it's stuck, will be central. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my punch just there while I stick this one down. And then once this first one is stuck, then we've got a guide for the rest. And I would definitely use, personally, I would use the wet glue for this because it's going onto an embossed piece of card with the ridges. But then I do prefer the wet glue anyway, so that's just personal preference. You could use tear and tape, for example, but the wet glue it is always my preference. So, and then we just add these on. Trying to make sure that we get them relatively level as we go across, but it's really quite a simple process. Ooh. See, plus as well with the wet glue you have that wiggle room like I just needed because I twisted it. And then pop the last one on, and that there is all our crescents in place. There we go. So that's that all stuck down. Let's move that out of the way. So I tied this up with a ribbon, so I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do that on the base layer before I stick it onto the card blank. So I'm using this is from a twin pack, which is in for the Forever Greenery suite in the annual catalogue, the current annual catalogue. Now I can't think off the top of my head if this one is carrying over this trim pack. I'm not sure, I can't remember. Right, and on the box I went round twice, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm making a bit of a pig's ear of this, aren't I? But so, and then if I just grab my snips, I'll snip that off fairly long, so as I've got enough to tie the bow. So, you know, this is where I might struggle a bit because there's not a lot of resistance on just one layer of card. In fact, to get a bit of resistance, let's lay that there. And then that's basically another couple of hands. And then we can tie the knot. I'm dreadful at tying knots, especially when people are watching me. So, and then we just snip that off there. So that's that done, and then I'm just going to stick it onto the base, like so. So again with the wet glue, I'll say it's always my favourite, this wet glue. But it just helps as well get into the little ridges of the cardstock after it's been embossed. I don't use my embossing folders nowhere near enough. My standard machine is about broken. I need to get a new one. I need to save up. So it's a case of getting my big A4 electric machine out, which sits in the bottom of a cupboard, and let's face it, when do we get things out of the cupboard? I need to be a bit more persistent with myself, and a bit more strict, and get it out a bit more often, because I don't use my embossing folders anywhere near enough. So that is that, and then I've gone ahead, because I've heat embossed, I've gone ahead and done this already. And I've used the thank you sentiment from Sweet Ice Cream stamp set, and then just heat embossed it in gold. And I've used my stitched rectangle dies, and I've used the smallest one there. Was that the smallest one? Please tell me I've put the smallest one away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. How many should there be? I can't see. I'm going to have to look at that, because I'm not sure whether that was the smallest one. But that's the one that was the suitable size for that sentiment. On this one, I used the second smallest on the narrower triangles, the shorter ones. Shorter, wider, whichever way you like to say it. If the smallest is number 1, I use number 2 for the congratulations. And then on this one, I've used what appears to be the smallest one, but I need to double check that that is the smallest. Like I say, I can't remember. And I can't see where it says how many dies should be in here. I'm going to have to look into that. Make sure I haven't lost one. So then I'm just going to stick that on with dimensionals. And that is our card finished. But it was the process of doing the circles I wanted to show you, because I thought that was quite a neat little trick. And sadly, we're losing our circle punches very soon. So now that one, yeah, so I'll put that sentiment at the top there. So I'll do the same with this one. Let's see if I can pull that down a bit, or have I glued it? Oh no, I can pull it down a bit. There we go. And then I'll just put that one just there. And then we have a card that matches our box. I hope you like it. If you do, please give me a thumbs up, and thank you for watching. Bye for now.